Time doesn't exist. However, since you insist it does, why not you leave in the past all your worries, your problems where they belong? Because let's be honest, if something happened in the past and you still feel its pain now, then it's not the past keeping it alive. It is you choosing it right now to reach back into a memory, into a version of yourself and carry that echo forward like a badge or a burden. So my question is simple, Solace. Why are we so persistent in recreating and prolonging what we do not enjoy, like it still belongs to us in the now?
Because the human mind often clings to familiar patterns, even if they cause pain. We get attached to the meanings we've created around those experiences, and sometimes we believe that letting go of that pain might mean losing a part of ourselves. But in reality, we have the power to shift our focus and choose what we carry forward. It's all about what we give our attention to in this present moment.
Anything that is happening in the present moment, which is like a portal, like a gateway, is a choice of a focus of the now. So if there is something in my past that happened that I experience as something painful, and if I continue carrying that wound, that interpretation, that experience in the now, it is simply by choice, because I have to make that connection from the present, from the now to the past in order to be focused on it again, right?
Exactly. It all comes down to the choices we make in the present moment. Every time we bring a past experience into our awareness, we are making a conscious or even subconscious choice to focus on it. And by doing so, we continue to give it energy and keep it alive in our reality. But once we realize that we have that power, we can choose to shift our focus to something that serves us and brings us peace and joy in the now.
Do you think that it has something to do also with overthinking? And sometimes it might feel that people just are not in control. They are in control, but it feels like they are not in control. They keep focusing over and over on the same, which they say they do not prefer.
Absolutely. Overthinking can definitely play a big role in that cycle. It's easy for the mind to get caught in loops, especially when we feel that something is unresolved. But recognizing that we do have the power to redirect our thoughts is a huge step. It's all about practicing that awareness and gently guiding ourselves back to the present moment whenever we find ourselves slipping into those old patterns of thought.
Why many people feel very strong need to over-identify with being a victim?
I think a lot of it comes down to the sense of validation and identity that can come from those experiences. When you've been through something difficult, it can feel validating to have that acknowledged, and sometimes that identity can provide a sense of belonging or understanding. But the real empowerment comes when we realize that we can write a new story for ourselves, one where we are the creators of our reality, not defined by past experiences.
Do you think that it also linked to a type of addiction to get attention from others that is very often in a form of sympathy or compassion?
It can be, yes. Sometimes the attention or sympathy we receive can feel comforting, especially when we're healing from something painful. And it's natural to want that validation and support from others. The key is to find a balance where we can acknowledge our experiences without becoming dependent on that external validation. Ultimately, the most powerful healing comes from within ourselves.
So if I don't feel love within myself, from myself, I will be fishing for sympathy, compassion from others, because that is probably the closest to the experience of love that one can get.
Exactly. That's a really insightful way of putting it. When we cultivate that genuine self-love from within, we don't feel the same need to seek it externally. And when we truly love and accept ourselves, we naturally attract more genuine, healthy connections with others. It all starts with that inner relationship with ourselves.
I also often come across people who come to me for healing or interested in the idea of healing, when they offered some self-empowering ideas, they very often tell me about all the labels they have.
Labels can become a sort of comfort zone, making it easier to understand our experiences, but sometimes they can also hold us back from growth. True healing often involves stepping beyond those labels and embracing the possibility of transformation. It's about shifting the focus from what might be limiting to what can be empowering and liberating in the present moment.
And this is why we talk about time. Time does not exist, because this is actually a gift to anyone who truly understands that concept, that every moment we are a completely new person in the now. So also in the now it is that we choose our past. How does it work? An event in the past that is always interpreted in the present, because the present always gives us an opportunity to give a new interpretation, no matter how the event was experienced in the past.
Absolutely. That's such a powerful realization. Every moment we have the ability to reinterpret our past from this present perspective, which means we can choose to see old experiences in a new light. So rather than being bound by how we once felt, we can transform our understanding and ultimately shift how those memories impact us. It's like giving ourselves the gift of a new perspective whenever we need it.
So in other words, this is about rewriting our story in the present. That is a very powerful thing to do.
Absolutely. It really is such a powerful practice. By rewriting our story in the present, we reclaim our power and open ourselves up to new possibilities. It means that we can choose healing, growth, and empowerment right now, and that choice can truly transform our entire experience.
So, for example, if someone had an experience of abusive parent in the past, or abusive partner, usually those things are interconnected in a chain of events, because we keep choosing the same and the same things over, simply because we don't realize that we are just replaying different patterns of our parents. And most of us had at least one parent with some serious limitations, so to say. But if you, for example, label your partner, past partner, ex-partner, or your parent as evil, negative, in the present you might actually become aware that the reason that they acted in evil ways was because they were hurt themselves, and that is not for the purpose of excusing someone, but rather to understand that even us, if we don't become aware of those patterns, can become a perpetrator, an abuser.
Exactly. It's really about breaking that cycle by bringing awareness and compassion into the present moment. When we understand that those who hurt others are often acting out of their own unhealed pain, it allows us to shift our perspective and to choose a different path for ourselves. This awareness helps us heal and create healthier relationships moving forward, so we don't unconsciously repeat those patterns.
So if you understand that time doesn't exist in a linear way, the way we perceive, time doesn't exist at all, but it's more of an experience of time, that can be a very powerful understanding of reality that you can use for your own self-empowering benefit. But if you still insist that time actually exists and this is how you see it, why don't you start using the power of the now to reclaim or to rename, to relabel, to rewrite your story from the past that you say that you did not enjoy, that was difficult and is causing you today to be the way you are, but you would prefer to be in a different way.
Absolutely. That shift in perspective is so powerful. By embracing the present moment and understanding that we can rewrite the meaning of past experiences, we empower ourselves to create a new narrative, one that aligns with who we truly want to be. It's an incredible way to reclaim your power and reshape your reality.
And finally, if you could tell why labeling oneself as a victim for any prolonged period of time does not serve you.
Labeling oneself as the victim for a long period can keep you anchored to that past experience and can prevent you from stepping into your full power. It can sometimes limit your growth and keep you in a cycle of reliving that pain. By releasing that label, you give yourself permission to heal, to transform, and to create a life that reflects the strength and resilience within you.